final game on Storm Point of the day. But yes, that was one of the best finishes this season. At least the one, probably the best one that I've seen. I didn't really get to watch all of last week. But yeah, certainly a really impressive thing from him, from Kilmate. And it was a 17-kill win for Northside Esports, and he got 14 of those kills. So you can kind of see what kind of a carry performance that was. And it did put them up to first place in the standings as well, not by a huge margin. So you can sort of see how important that win actually was as far as placement points are concerned. Now, first thing that strikes me as I look at this this mini-map
is that the zone is attracted to whoever did the most ridiculous amount of kills in the last game. Is that what you're seeing, Elfish? Because it's gone, it's definitely going towards Northside over a checkpoint. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just wondering do we run it back? You know, do we go to mill? Probably not. But
no, I think this one, well, actually, no, there is a chance. There is a chance. Probably not as far into the buildings as we saw last time, but potentially in that direction, yes.
Yeah.
And like, I guess the other thing that strikes me about that result, Elfish, is that, you know, this isn't a team that we've had a lot of eyes on so far. We're like almost halfway through the split, and we haven't had to talk about Northside Esports a lot because they haven't put a lot of big results up. And also, they've got a couple of unknown names, right? At least up until now, Kilmate was a singular player who we really hadn't had to touch on too much. Emil, you know, he's been in a lot of those tie rosters for quite some time, so we know him very well in the ALGS. But Kilmate and Nuku, not so much, but that is one play that I will never forget.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, I think we do have to move on from that because there's going to be a little bit more to start talking about, and, you know, I guess whether or not Northside Esports is going to be able to hold on to that first place position is, I think, going to come down to more plays like that. I mean, that's a clutch win, but they are still really only just holding on to first place in this lobby, and there's a lot of teams trying to chase them down. Circle has been favorable enough for them to start things off in Game 3 as well. TNZ, on the other hand, probably the team that has the longest to travel. They have chosen the IMC on the opposite end of the map to where the zone is going.
Yeah, as most teams who land Lightning Rod do, they usually take the IMC as well. Teams seem to have moved away from the Cliffside Depot as sort of a POI / not a POI, but a landing spot. A couple of Seer ultis going down here at Down Beast. Does that mean we'll actually see a scuffle? I don't think so. It looks like PK and Ant are actually pulling away from each other at the moment. Unless one of them manages to get a couple of good hits and get it down, I wouldn't expect this to turn into a full-on fight, especially when both Seer ultimates are out. You can see both teams respecting that, respecting the knowledge that it imparts, and just moving away from each other, especially considering that, you know, they have good, like a reasonably good position in the zone, and they should be able to play these buildings, the top of the beast, inside of the beast even, for quite a while.
Still a lot of legs left in this game. A few shots getting popped up around the map. It doesn't really look like anything's going to eventuate just yet. We've still got the full 60 players in the lobby. Doesn't really appear as though many players are catching each other on rotation. A lot of these shots are just sort of happening inside the zone, trying to lock down positioning, scare people off, that kind of thing. So, fairly relaxed start to the game.
Boogie Boarders, they're coming up from the north side there. Oh, team still all the way in North Pad, actually. So, you know, they're not completely done. They're not, it's not like they've got it all to themselves, but they will just make their way in on foot from here. Pretty light on the attachments there, unfortunately, for the Vault, but the 2-4 is probably the important thing to have on it, at least. Allows you to do that damage from range. Dreamfire, kind of hoping for a repeat of last time. I mean, they did manage to get a decent placement and still a lot of kills from their starting position of the mill, and they are on the opposite side of the building here to good riddance. So both of them taking up positions inside at the moment. Of course, Dreamfire, they didn't get the beacon, so they're just looking at their zone and kind of hoping a little bit. Unfortunately, I don't think it's necessarily going to pull in that same direction, or at least in the same spot, but they're going to try and play it out as if it was.
I mean, at the very least, they're probably seeing a lot of teams rotating in their direction and making a bit of an educated guess that teams with the info are going to be heading there. Right on top of Down Beast.
Didn't realize there was a highway up there. It's an overpass.
Not something you see every day, that's for sure. Down Beast is an interesting spot to play, isn't it? It's always been like one of those areas where you can get on top of it, you can usually hold on to it, but there's always this element of fear I find when I'm on top of it that like someone has crept up somewhere and you're just gonna go over a little ridge and there's just someone like hiding.
Yeah, because it's not a flat surface, right? So it's not like a lot of the other buildings where like you know if someone's on there with you. Yeah, you're right. Someone could creep up, horizon lift, maybe Valkolting into the wrong little spot. And if you can't, you know, sort of work your way out of that, you could be in a little bit of trouble. That said, they're going to be okay there for the moment. You know, we're sitting up there with the crypto drone as well. I'm not sure there's a... Yeah, I don't think there's a beacon in range of that crypto drone, unfortunately. Maybe Northpad. I think that's probably too far away, though. So they will just have to sort of, you know, assess the lobby and look around. Racky's managed to pick up a bow check.
Yeah. 3x bow check. Literally the best thing ever.
Oh,
I don't know if
you're a bow and arrow fan, are you? I'm not. I'm not actually. Prefer the. Actually, no, these days I'm all about the scout. Let's be honest, that thing is cracked. And remember, we're back in season 15 now. So the double tap is even better than it was before, which I just like. It genuinely blows my mind that they could buff that.
I remember having that conversation with you the other week, and you were like, "Well, I don't understand why they've done this. Like, it doesn't need it."
And I still don't understand.
Yeah. No, but I will say I never liked the bow check. Like when I first picked it up, I was like, this sucks. Like I can't hit anything with it. But I started getting railed by it like every time I would play against someone with a bow check. And I was like, this is OP because like half the time you can't even tell where you're getting shot from.
Well, it's basically back up to where it was when it dropped. Like, when they introduced it as a weapon the very first time, it was nuts. Like, I think you could, like, two-shot people to the head or something with it. Natsuru-sama, of course, picked it up and was just, like, demolishing people left, right, and center. There's no way. There is no way we are going back to the buildings, right?
I think there's a pretty good shot. Because, obviously, there's a big clump of unplayable terrain in the top right of that zone. So, you'd like to think it would move off of that. So in which case it would move toward the mill, right?
It feels like it's 50-50 at the moment, honestly. Whether it goes there or maybe it favors someone like T4 who is sitting underneath the bridge a bit more to the north. Of course, north side who, you know, we were checking out from Checkpoint, of course. They've made their way over and they're looking all right again. So, oh my god, they've got a lot of loot stashed in their building as well. So they're going to be okay.
One other thing that I actually want to draw your attention to is Ath with Kizik still playing on the rampart, who have actually set themselves up on the far western side of the zone. That one little building that's right out to the west, just outside of the mill. If that gets fed, which it is possible, given what we know of the next coming zone, and they've set up with a rampart in a building, open fields all around them, I really want to see that. It's just to the bottom of the screen here where we're over, like this overview. If we keep flying, you'll see their building in a little bit. But yeah, they're very close to this position, and if that gets fed, that could be fun.
Onyx don't look like they're having fun. They've already taken a hit from the ADL Wolves. 3v2, will they be able to get Falcon back up before too late?
They're on the roof.
Going for it. They should be able to hear this coming. ADL, oh, they actually get kept off. Droga, he hears the sound cue and tries to go up, but I don't know if they're going to be able to push this now. Some really good shots from Onyx on the top side keep them at bay.
Yeah, Onyx going to push down. They feel as though they can make something happen here, or at least they can buy enough time to get that res. This is the benefit of playing the roof. It's hard to push up onto a roof like that when there's Watson fences everywhere, and even if you know you've got a number advantage if you are trying to deal with someone who's reviving, whatever. It just takes you so long to actually get in a position to start shooting that you're not able to do anything about it. And so straight back down, Onyx now are the ones with the advantage.
Well, Lahim, as soon as he gets that health off, he just says, all right, I'm going in. I'm going to try and see what's happening here. We can see that we can hear the medding below, so I'm just going to push straight in. And with the flatline, basically demolishes these guys. Drauga has actually gotten out as soon as this has happened. He's taking so many shots. He's going to go down mid-air as well. That's a clean wipe for Onyx and a very impressive display by them.
Look, that Skyward Dive really is not a get-out-of-jail-free card like what it used to be. Players have gotten so much better at dealing with it.
Well, and it's got nerfed several times.
Yeah, it does take a lot longer to get up in the air too. So
well, you don't go as high. You can't spin around as much. There's several things that make it easier than it used to be to take those players down.
Yeah, but anyway, the TLDR is sometimes when you would have gotten away with that Skyward Dive, now you will not. And this was one of those cases, although I don't know how much that would have really helped. Like Draga trying to win it solo. I guess we should never say never based on what we just saw last game, but yeah, not an ideal scenario one way or the other. Either way, Onyx are going to be happy with it. They lock down checkpoint and wait for the next zone to pull on in. And now everyone gets the info that, well, once again, we're kind of heading back toward Mill. But like I said, I'm still keeping a bit of a cheeky eye on Ath. I want to see where that next pull is going to end up. And I think Onyx is going to get that info for me.
Chicken sandwich here. They're coming up against boogie borders pretty soon, actually. See them starting to clear out these fences. Do they want to actually push in and take this, or are they just trying to put some pressure on, you know, and maybe clear the way for them Valkord out or something like that?
All right. I'm not going to say anything until we see what the map shows us, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. That's all I can guess. Chicken sandwich. Definitely under the pump at the moment. Really trying to pop those bats. Boogie borders, definitely feeling a little better. And to be honest, if I was in the position Chicken Sandwich was in right now, I would be trying to think of a way to get out of here. They do have the Skyward Dive. They've got a long way to travel. Issue is, with this zone, there isn't really a whole lot that they can land on. They're probably not that eager to go for a blind rotate like that. That they just say, all right, well, we're going to have to try and take this fight as long as possible and see what happens.
Oh, man. Yeah, Chicken Sandwich is taking a lot of damage, too. You saw Panna try and get a bit frisky there, tried to get up in their grill, and unfortunately just doesn't trade very well. They've got the Seer ultimate up, so they know where he is. They almost grab him out, but has just enough game sense to fly out in time. Skyward Dive is ready for Chicken Sandwich. Looks like they're trying to find an angle that they can use this safely, but Boogie Borders are definitely going to look for it. A couple of teams you can see still around checkpoint. There's GQ looking to hold out Onyx, and then D and Z on the back of that as well. So a couple of teams are going to have to try and push further south. One of them is Chicken Sandwich, and Panna has actually been taken out as they tried their Skyward Dive. Just as we've talked about all of this, Boogie Borders are going to rock up and try and take advantage of that one taken out in the sky, while helpless means the other two should be short work.
Indeed, and that is very much the case. Chicken Sandwich eliminated in 18th place that game. Not the finish they're looking for. Boogie Borders, they're not exactly in the greatest of conditions. They now also have to make their move. Onyx is once again in an engagement. This is the building that we saw so many teams rotating through last game. DNZ was one of them, and DNZ is again. They are a little bit worse for wear at the moment. Joker does actually get that knock on to Lahim, makes that fight happen. And Onyx go down, but they do still have to go through Dugu play. The DNZ are not out of the woods just yet.
Well, Dugu play, they pop an EMP on top of that. They're actually going to throw some Arc Stars in there as well, but they have too much ground to cover. Elfish, that was never going to be a full commit for them. Moonlight Tears, who is on the Seer now. I think he was on the Newcastle earlier in the day, if I'm not wrong. And yeah, look, they're just trying to hold out their southern side of this zone. Rather than do the full commit and try and wipe out DNZ. Maybe if they had got a pick. Meanwhile, PK here, you can see they're struggling.
Yeah, very much so. I think as to be expected when you're rotating through this area of the map, there's just not a whole lot of cover. And lots of angles that can be found in onto you. So Yugi, the last one alive, is just trying to use his teammate as cover. It's never really going to be actually enjoyable. And Esports will go through and pick up that kill. A little bit of loot there for them as well. They've kind of locked down the northern side of the zone. Still going to have to move their way in, but to be honest, it's actually not the worst of places to be. And now, as you can see on that minimap, remember that building I was talking about. Remember the position that Ath was in with the rampart. The one that's pinged right now. They are still sitting there with that minigun set up, and they are waiting for teams to walk into their crosshairs. It hasn't happened yet. Everyone's kind of killing each other on the outskirts of this zone, but as soon as they head towards center, They are going to be getting farmed by a Rampart.
And that was literally exactly the building I was talking about, by the way, when we were talking about, you know, these buildings behind Mill, the ones that we saw in the Apac North Circle. So Ath here, they've definitely been watching the VODs as well. They know this is a great spot to start setting those, you know, setting up all the Rampart walls as well as Sheila. So. It's looking pretty good for them right now. Lots of extra damage coming out. You got to remember that it just ramps up all the damage you are chucking out. So everyone needs to be worried about them, especially teams like Good Riddance, who I think have just started realizing that they're in the middle of this and definitely in the crosshairs of Ath.
Like, just look at this. I mean, there really isn't that much cover up on that hill. Like, yes, there are rocks here and there, but it is fairly open ground, and it's really not going to provide cover for the amount of teams that we've still got left. Like, you could fit 10 teams in the mill, which is what we did, but you cannot fit 10 teams on that hill. So once this zone pulls in and teams have to start leaving mill, they're going to be cooked. They really are going to be cooked. This is going to be a big, big difference maker. This rotation the teams are making.
Oh, north side, please do not tell me. All right, well, once we go back out of observer mode, you're going to see that north side has been eliminated, and I can assure you that that was due to no one's fault than their own, because they literally went up and died while Valculting. Completely to zone. Nothing else.
Yep.
So that, I mean, the highs and the lows. And by the way, Kilmate was he was kill leader when that happened. He had another 4 kills. He was trying to run it back, try to repeat his performance last game, but man, that is quite sad.
As is always the case in the game like this, you have one really good game and then it just doesn't come together the following. So look, I've been there. It happens to the best of us. Not that I would suggest I am the best of us, but anyway. 20th guaranteed up on top of the roof once again of Mill. They do like that position. Didn't work out for them last game, even though I thought that it might. They are going to contest it for it by Echo. Looks like the EMP's getting tossed in there as well. Rico on the ground now. Trent is as well, and it is just Leaf who, at the very least, is healthy, but maybe that won't last long. The shots are coming through. Back going to get popped behind his teammates. The shields aren't enough to cover off, and 20th guaranteed will fall at the hands of Dreamfire, in fact.
Yeah, do EXO realize this? Yes, they do. They will come and clean up the rest of them, and then they might realize there's a rat hanging around. As you can see, it's Bolin, and all of a sudden, EXO turn tail, and everyone is gone from the mill but them. That said, you can see a couple of other legends pointing their direction, pointing their attention towards EXO. That's MDY White above them, but really, it's Ath sitting there behind the amped cover.
Yep.
That are going to be in the killer position. As everyone starts running into this open field, it will just be like lambs to the slaughter.
They have left Kha'Zix back in the building, while Zabby and Jubjibib have already rotated into the next portion of the zone to start setting up those Watson fences, and I can only imagine that's just because, well, I feel like Kha'Zix can probably get the most done on the rotations of other teams. Eventually now they've had to start pushing their way out, trying to take some zone control, so no longer is that building in play for Ant. But obviously they have really got the safe side of the zone, and they are pretty much in control of almost 100% of the zone. You can see the rest of the teams are trying to run away from the zone. That's literally what they're trying to do. That's all they've got to play with. EXO down a member. Killer Paws maybe just crawls in and gets rezzed here, but everyone's fighting on this eastern edge of the zone. Meanwhile, Ant is sitting chilling on the western side, waiting for the eventual winner of it to come to their waiting arms.
Not if Good Riddance have something to say about it. They move in and remove EXO as they're trying to crawl out of that last zone. But as they do so, Ant are on top of this. That said, Ath, they've been sitting pretty as well. It was really them and Ant who had the good positions coming into this last circle. Now we'll see who can take it out.
Oh, never mind. Chilla's gone. It's just a car for Kha'Zix, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do with that one. Ath. I mean, they didn't exactly get the fight that they wanted here, to be honest. They wanted a third party. They don't get it. Kha'Zix has just run it down. Sheila did not work out in that situation. Zabby's gone as well. Jubjibib the last alive, and well, and it looks like they're going to walk away with a pretty comfortable win in the end. We built it up so much for Ath, but it's just not come together, and Ant Esports Club will win the final game of Storm Point for the day.
I mean, it's meant to be a static weapon, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you start carrying it around, you can get some pretty cool moments with it.